Hey folks, welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner. This is Photoshop Elements Weekly number 9. In this week, we're going to talk about framing using textures and how we can use a texture and build a frame for our pictures. We're also going to talk about raw photography. What does that mean exactly? And how do you use raw pictures in Photoshop Elements? And how does the pictures get into Elements, and why would we want to shoot in RAW? Because the pictures are so large. And then I'm planning, if I can do this, I'm not sure or not, because we're going to do it in what's called a virtual machine here, but I want to show you the new green screen wizard. And we're also going to show you a sandwiching routine. And what does that mean? What's sandwiching mean with using green screen? So I have an action-packed show for you folks today. There's tons of stuff to go through here. The phone lines are open, as always, and they will be. The only thing, as always, I ask that you please don't call in during the demonstrations. Wait until the tutorial's over, and then you're free to call in here to the show, and we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. So let's go ahead and get started here with Photoshop Elements Weekly. Okay, everything's back up. All right, guys, so that's it. We are now coming into, wow, week number 9. We've been together a long time here, folks, and I'm really glad, and I'm honored and very humbled, as always, to see that you the viewers are coming back each week. It's great to see you guys coming in here. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, oh, and also, if I didn't mention it, this week we do have a game. And I do have a prize giveaway. Believe it or not, I am giving away something during the show. So stick around here until the end. I'm sure you're going to be very, very pleased that you did. At least I hope you do anyway there. And we'll see if somebody can win the contest. It's a photo contest. And I'll tell you more about that towards the end of the show. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about framing with a texture. And what exactly does that mean? Well, what that means is we're going to download a texture and import those into you can either put them into your organizer on Windows or iPhoto on your on a Mac. You can do that either way there. So, but I want to show you how those work and how we're going to go ahead and get started with that right off the bat was a texture. And using that texture to do a framing technique. It's really cool, and it makes your pictures look really exciting. And then we'll talk a little bit about printing or resizing for printing, because a lot of you ask me about that each week. A lot of you call in or email me, so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me get this out of the way. And let me actually, let's see here. If we can get these out of the way. Nope. I just got so many windows open this morning here, folks, preparing for you guys, getting ready for all you guys to come aboard here this morning. So I like to go over some of these tutorials and make sure I got them right before we actually demonstrate them out there to you, because as I say, you can't edit a live show, right? You just can't edit it. So and I did have an interesting email. You guys realize this is live. I had an interesting email last week. I just want to throw this out there to you there. That somebody said, Jack, quit mumbling on so much. Quit talking. I love to talk to you guys. That's how we communicate with each other. Don't let things pull you away from things. In other words, don't chat to people. Don't take phone calls. That's ridiculous. No, this show is live, and it's for you guys to learn. If I'm not going to accept your phone calls, then I'm not doing a proper job to teach you anything. So I don't want to do that. The next thing they were saying was, don't take a sip of coffee. In other words, this guy's saying, don't waste my time to watch a free show, right? I'm doing this for free, and I'm wasting his time apparently. So be that whatever, guys. You know it's live, and we'll go with that. So let me fire up our screen, right? This is what you came for. This is what you guys stopped by here for. Is you stopped by to learn, and that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to talk about first is, where do you get these textured backgrounds? Now there's so many that does come with Photoshop Elements that you can use. You're free to use those, but I tend to like to go off base a little bit, and I like to go out there somewhere and find them. Well, I found this great website, and I didn't do a lower third for it. I'm sorry. I know I usually try to get those up there for you, so I'm not going to take the time to do that. So you guys can maybe just jot it down if you have a piece of paper, hopefully handy. We can let you write that down. Okay. Let me see where it is here. There we go. Okay, guys. Now, if you watch any of my videos on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find these textures in one of the videos I did a while back. And actually, that's where I went through my own archives to find this stuff. So that's what I do, too. Now, what we're looking at here is Grange textures. So here's the website, folks. It's http:// whatever. Okay, GRUNGETEXTURES.com. GrangeTextures.com. And you can see it right here, right? Hopefully you can see that okay, right here. See if I can probably bring it up for you a little bit. Let me see here. Let's see what we can do. Let's see here. I'll bring this up so you can see this for a minute. Just to make sure everybody has it spelled right. I know it's kind of a weird spelling. But, hey, there you go. There it is. Now it's right up on your screen, easy to see. So, there it goes. GrangeTextures.com. This gentleman here is nice enough to build these textures and give them to us, what? Free of charge. He gives them away to us. So, hey, that's great. It's always nice to get things free of charge. And what I tend to do is drop somebody an email and say, hey, thanks a lot. Like, you can click on his contact information over here, and you can drop a little note. Say, hey, thanks, man. It's really great that you're helping us out here. And the folks over here at Jack's Tech Corner, Photoshop Elements Weekly, we think you're doing a bang-up job. So there you go. Okay, let me get back into this whole screen here. We'll just flip this back over. There we go. Now, what you can do here is, if you go into Gallery, right here at the top, Gallery. So you go into Gallery and work your way down here to the different galleries. Okay, it's very easy to see there. And hopefully everybody can hear me okay this morning. That's the big thing. Somebody throw it in the chat room and say audio is good, and I'll be happy to hear that. Okay, folks, so we are looking now at the different types of textures. And I looked here this morning. I found a couple that I liked. I went under wood. Wood textures is where I went. But whatever strikes your fancy, right? That's the big thing here. Whatever strikes your fancy, whatever you want to see, then you can use these. These are really, really nice textures. And I said before, is what makes a texture different than a background is it has that 3D look. It has that part of something's on it, right? It's textured. So that's exactly what it's called, a texture. More than just a flat color or even a gradient, which is basically a group of flat colors together. There we go. We're just flipping through some of these. So you find what you want to use. I'm going to grab this one. I click on it. Now, once you click on it, please, and so many people are going to do this, they're going to right click on here and save image as. Don't do that, guys, okay, and girls. Go down to where it says download full size image. Click on that. And here's where we want to download it. And what you want to do here is just simply save your file, okay? If I'm going too fast, just hit in the chat room there, just say, Jack, slow down. And I'll slow down for you guys, okay? But I guess we're keeping up here. So we're going to save this file. You can see it's a JPEG file. And we'll simply click OK. And now it's going to say, well, where do you want to save it to? All right, guys. Now everybody knows that I broadcast here, and I'm using a Mac. but you guys, it works just the same on Windows. Windows and Macs are so close together nowadays that there's not a whole lot of difference. So what we want to do here is click on Pictures, is where I stuck everything here. And I made a folder here under Pictures. Okay, I thought I did. Under Pictures. Well, we're going to make a folder then. So you make a new folder called Textures. Okay, so you got a new folder called Textures. And just save this. You can even rename it so you know what it is. We're going to call this wood number 1 or whatever you want to name that. That's fine. Click on Save. And there you go. Now it's saved. And just close that. And now we have that particular picture we want to use. Now, this demonstration, like I said, it's exactly the same if you're using the organizer or if you're using iPhoto. Either one, it doesn't really matter. I could show you both if you want to know it, but I think we'll be okay on importing a picture. Right? Everybody knows how to import pictures into your particular into your whatever you're using, right? So we're going to go Image, and I'm just going to import into Library. Now this is iPhoto, but like I said, whatever you're using, you have to import the picture in whatever you're working with. So Textures and Wood. So I'm going to import this into here, and there it is. Now what I did was I make an album. So if you're in your organizer, and all you have to do there is make an album. Okay, so create a new album, or if you're in iPhoto, create a new album. As you see, I got one here called Textures already. If you can see that right there. Again, let me try to bring this up a little bit more. Try to get you a better shot here of it so you can see what's going on. Just so you understand, I want you guys to understand. I don't want you guys to be lost out there by any means. Okay, so here we go now. Now we're in here, and I have a album right here called Textures. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this particular picture and just pull it in. Well, that's not the one. That's the one I want the last imported. There it is. Last imported, I'm going to pull that into Textures. Now I have two in there, two different textured backgrounds. As I told you, I was playing with the wood textures earlier this morning, so that's kind of how I got these two different ones there. Okay. All right. Let's go back out of here. And we'll go back into the full screen there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up a couple pictures here, and we're going to use this wood to build a frame around the picture, however you want to build that. And I'm going to show that to you and demonstrate that to you now. As I said, this is an action-packed show. Each week I think more and more about these shows of what I can do and show you guys. And it just builds on each week. It's great. I really enjoy doing this. So I enjoy you guys hanging out there with me. Okay. So we have this set up. I'm going to use the new one I just pulled in. I'm going to right click at and open it in External Editor. Okay. Now as it opens, I'm sorry, I'm taking a sip of coffee. As you may be doing if you're on the West Coast right now, you might be drinking a lot of coffee, a little bit earlier for you folks out there. Or if you're across the pond the other way, you may be drinking a glass of wine at this time. I don't know. Okay, so we have this particular picture open here that we're going to use. Okay. Now we need to have a picture that we're going to use to frame it with. And we're going to frame it with this wood. So let's go back to my particular iPhoto here. All right. Let me find something, and this is, like I said, these are live, and I don't always like to use the same pictures I use when I'm testing these tutorials out, because what happens is you get too comfortable doing something. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm trying to think here. You want enough stuff. You want enough room around it. You can see this one has a little bit of glass in it there, and I don't really like that picture a whole lot. I'll do the bird. I think the bird will work good with wood. You know, it is what it is, folks, right? It is what it is. Okay, so we're going to use this picture. I don't know what all the crap is on there. But we can edit that and clean it up, and I'm sure you guys know how to do that. Alright, so here we go. We are now going to take this, and we got to cut some of this out so we can use that wood to make a new frame. That's what we're going to do with this. So what I like to use here is my cookie cutter tool. And I'm going to pull this down, and there's like 5 billion different tools in there, right? Tons of stuff in there. I don't know if you guys ever looked at it or not, but there is just tons of stuff in there. I'm going to try to get this over a little bit more here. Again, just so you can see what's going on here. Alright, so we are going to just leave it on that region and pull this down. And as you can see in here, there's everything's listed right now. So if I click this little pull down menu, that's why I blew this up right here on the left. Left? Right. I'm sorry, it's on the right. You can see where it says all element shapes. Well, that's good if you want to sit there for 3 or 4 days trying to figure out what exactly you're looking for. I don't think you want to do that, all right? What we want to do is we want to go down to where it says crop shapes. That's going to make that list incredibly smaller, and you don't want small thumbnails. Put it on large thumbnails right here, just so you can see what they are, what kind of shapes they are. And we'll try something off the wall here I didn't use before, just to see how it works out. So bear with me. Remember, please remember, this is live. I keep saying that because I also put these up on YouTube, and people watch them and they think I sat there for an hour creating 3 or 4 tutorials just for YouTube. But it's a live show, so if it doesn't look right or if it messes up, that's alright. You know, that's a part of learning. And I never use some of these shapes, but I think it would be really neat with wood to use some of these different shapes. So I'm going to try it just to see what happens. Okay, let me go back first. And I'm sorry I keep switching screens on you there. Hopefully that makes it easier for you to see. That's what I want to do. I want to make it easier for you guys to be able to see this. And that's what we're looking to do. Alright. So, the first thing we want to do is we're going to pick a shape. And we got our shapes laid out. I want to try this one. So I just click on that. And we're going to go over the bird here. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to look because I've never done this before. Okay, but I have a little mistake here first. Let me stop this. Is we didn't duplicate the background image. How come nobody's doing it in the chat window? You guys, you should be catching that by now. Jack, you didn't duplicate the background. I mean, it's not life or death, but it's just something I like to do. So then we'll shut that original background off and just leave layer 1 selected. And we're going to do that again. Let's start at the top left. Hold your left mouse button down and just pull down over it. Just like that. You can move this around if you want it like repositioned a little bit. That looks pretty nice. Hopefully this will work out well and the wood won't overpower it. You can maybe expand it out a little bit. Right, we can blow it up a little bit. Let's do that because you don't want the wood to overpower it, because we want to be able to see the bird. That's the major part of it here. When you click OK or the checkbox, you now see that we have an outside edge that's transparent. Okay, so the outside edge is transparent. It's very easy to see that. It makes a lot of sense now to you, what we're doing here. Now we're going to introduce that wood texture that we downloaded from the internet. That's why I have it open right up here. This is my wood texture. I'm going to take the wood texture. Now you could do this either way. You can take this and put it on the wood texture, or you can take the wood texture and put it on the foreground. It doesn't really matter. It's a foreground background. We got layers, and you guys know we've been working with layers for a while, so you understand layers and how they work. So let's go ahead. Either way, it doesn't matter to me which way you want to do it. I'm going to go select all. We'll see if this works. Edit. I'm going to copy it. Open up the bird. Edit. I'm going to paste it. And you look at that and you say, oh my, Jack just messed it all up. That's not really what he was thinking of doing. Well, it is, because you know what happens there is it's layers. And you guys, I've taught you layers enough that I bet you everybody on this channel, I've taught you layers enough that you understand that whatever's on top is covering everything else below. That's a layer. So we'll just check the box here. And once that's done, now we can grab that layer 1 and we'll pull it up onto the background. Okay. Now you can see there we have a nice framed picture, the bird sitting there inside of that wood. If you want to make it even look better, you can take it. I would probably crop that down a little bit. You can decide however you want to make it. Just to make a tighter frame maybe, or whatever. That looks pretty good. Okay. Check the box again. And there you have it. Now we got a nice framed picture inside of that wood. So it looks really, really good. And the last thing I wanted to show you was about printing this. Because printing, when you're doing these and you're putting different shapes and different sizes together, what tends to happen is you're creating different size prints. And if you don't check it, you're going to end up not being able to print at certain sizes. Something's going to be cropped off. Now this one's pretty good because I have a lot of wood around here. But I did one this morning that was real small, like right up in here, and it was cropping off the effect. But we're going to check that anyway. So if I go to File and then Print, and right now you're not even really printing. What we're doing here is actually hold on a minute. I didn't pick that up. See if this will do it here. File. Might have to flatten this first. Hey, see, that's live TV for you. That's what happens. Alright, let's see here. We'll actually close this one now. We're done with that anyway. Let's see what that looks like. File. Print. There you go. That's what was wrong. That second one was still open there. So, sorry, it's live TV. We're learning together. So that's a good thing. Let's see here. Okay. So we have this up now on the screen. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to check the print sizes. And what I mean by that is it says select print size. See where it says crop to fit? If you uncheck this, you can see that the edges are different here. So on a 4x6 you would have some white edges. Crop to fit means it's going to crop it up so it fits at 4x6. That way if we take that and we print it, we know it's going to be okay. And why I'm telling you this is when you do a file save as, you do a file save as, and it's going to save that picture out. When we take it to our Kinko's or local department store, whichever one you go to, throw it into that developer or the printer for your pictures, you want to be sure that whatever size you want to print is going to look nice. So I would suggest look at 8x10. Now again, that's cropping to fit. You can see there, the effect's still there, so that 8x10 is going to look really nice. If you uncrop it, that's what you're going to have. You can cut the tops off and have maybe a little wider picture. So it's totally up to you how you want to do these, folks. Look at a 5x7. 5x7 looks really great, so that's good. You can probably even do some wallet sizes with this one. There you go. So everything looks good. I wouldn't change a thing on that. It looks fine. All right. The last thing I want to show you with this, sometimes when you're working with different pictures from different places, we deal with lighting issues. You guys know that. And that's one problem with using backgrounds or backdrops because sometimes the lighting's different. Look at my one YouTube video where I put a picture of, I think it was my wife and a sunset behind her. How many emails I got that said, Jack, you should have turned her around to have the sunset coming in front of her like this. But, you know, it's something you do when you're editing and when you're making those videos. It looked like a good idea at the time, but And I enjoy criticism. I like when you guys help me out and criticize if it's uh, constructive criticism. So that's really, really important to me too. As long as it's constructive criticism. Okay, what we want to look at then is if we take this, let's take this layer here, and we're going to go down to our adjustment layer, and we're going to go to brightness and contrast. All right. Now what you want to do here first is take this and pull this above it here. I think this is right. No, pull this. I'm sorry. Oh, leave it the way it was. I get it back here. What you want to do now is click on this one and do a command click on this one, or a control click, and then do a control G or a command G. And what you're going to do there is you're just linking those two together, is what you're basically doing. Okay, let's undo this. That's a clipping mask. We don't want to do that one. Let's do this. And now that we linked it to this one, you see the arrow pointing down. What's going to happen is it's very independent of the layer here, the bird. And what I mean by that is now, if we double click this, we can adjust the brightness and contrast, and all you should see is the wood changing and not the bird in the middle. See the wood changing and not the bird in the middle. Alright. Again, that was Command G on the Mac and Control G on the PC. That's how you would do that. You can adjust this back. If you want that wood to look a little bit more burnt, right, just turn the brightness down a little bit. Makes it even more interesting. Work with the contrast back and forth. And now you can really see that texture coming up too. That's why I like to play with this a little bit, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. And then on the top one, layer 1, do the same thing, but this time we're going to try to use levels. And we're going to do the same thing. Do a command or control G. That's going to link it to whatever's below it. And here's your levels down here. And again, now watch the bird. The bird is brightening up and not the wood. So you can adjust that back and forth a little bit. There you go. Okay, once you get that all done, so many of you keep asking, Jack, what do you do with it then? Always save it out. Do a file, save as. And always save this out. I'm sorry I keep switching these screens back and forth, but I think it helps you guys to see a little bit more of what's going on here. Always save it out, and you want to change this drop down here. You don't want to leave it as a PSD. That's a Photoshop development file. Okay, so what that's telling you is you can reopen it in Photoshop and edit it with all the layers and everything intact. If I ever think I'm going back to work on that picture again, that's what I do. But just go down here, if not, and save it as a JPEG, and save it somewhere where you're going to know you're taking those out to be developed or whatever, so wherever you're going to save that at. I generally have a folder here called edited, and we will say here, we'll just call this bird with frame, and we're going to save that. And when this comes up, always remember, if you're going to print it, use the large file size. I've had emails with people complaining about that, saying, Jack, wow, that's crazy because it's 5.7 megabytes. I want all the pixels and all the detail I can muster out of that picture, because then I can take that, and if I'm at the developer and I see something, I can still crop it and not have to worry about losing any detail. So it's very important. Hey, buy yourself a 8 gigabyte memory stick for what, $20 maybe? Buy that and use that thing, because I tell you what, it's fine, and 5.7 megabytes is nothing. So click OK and save that out. We'll just save that. And as you see there, when you save it, it flattens it out. It's flattening the image down. Okay, so you'll see that under your layers. You'll watch it flatten out. And there we go. Let's try and bring up my elements back up here. Okay, so there's that. Let's see here. And I want to bring this up. And this. Okay, guys, so that takes us over the first tutorial. Hopefully, you learned something here this morning. If not, remember we are recording this on the greatest DVR in the world, and that would be Justin TV. They are recording this up for us. And I also take this and I edit it down a little bit, and I throw it up on YouTube, so you guys will have it there. Or you can catch me on iTunes. Look for Photoshop Elements Weekly, or it's under Jack's Tech Corner on iTunes. And you can put that on an iPad or iPhone. Hey, if you have any thoughts or calls there, now's a great time to give me a ring. If you have any questions through the week that you might have hit yourself with, said, wow, I want to know that. I think I'll call Jack this weekend. 724-701-0911. And we have Mr. Try to get to the point faster. Hey, I'm sorry. It takes a little bit of time to get there because we have a lot of people in here with a lot of different talents. And we don't want to move too fast because then I don't want a chance of losing somebody. Does that make sense? Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks for saying I have a lot of knowledge. At least there's something in my noggin up there, right? So that's key. Hey, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the criticism about getting to the point faster, and I understand where you're coming from. But like I said, I like to take it step by step. I've been doing these tutorials for a couple years, and I like people to be able to keep up with me. And I know there's people out there, with many, many talents, so that's another thing to look at. Okay, let's see here real quick. Okay, everybody else is doing all right there. And remember, we do have that live prize there at the end, so that's key. We're going to get started here with the next tutorial. Like I said, I had tons of stuff to show you, and I'm not going to get to it all today. I'm going to have to push it off to the next show. So let's go ahead and get started here with the next tutorial. And I think what we're going to talk about on this one is we're going to look at some raw images. And hopefully you guys shoot raw. And I don't know if you shoot raw or not, but we want to look at some raw images and what that actually entails and what that means and how they work, all together. So I don't know, like I said, if you use raw or not, but we're going to look at it. And then we're going to look at some green screen sandwiching techniques. I think we can get that in. And if we get that much in, I can show you Ken's new product next week. We are going to break, and I'm sorry we have to do this each week, but we are going to break for a commercial interruption here. It's 58 seconds long, so bear with me. It's about a half hour into the show, and that's when I like to throw it out there. So let's go ahead and run that, and then I'll be right back with you. Green Screen Wizard for all your green screening needs. From standalone software to plugins to the green screens themselves. Ken is the man you want to go to. Longtime photographer and programmer, Ken has pulled both of his talents together to create the easiest green screen processes. And one hosting services. Do you need a personal website, or do you have a business looking for a company with dependability and support, yet at a reasonable cost, not to break the bank? One does it all. Websites, domain names, email services, and even remote servers. To order any of these products, go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, and click on the graphics on the left side of the page. Now, back to learning. Again, guys, now's a great time if you want to call into the show, 724-701-0911. If you have any questions, you can use a regular cell phone or Skype me at Jack's Tech Corner. Be glad to hear from you. That is basically how we did the green screening sandwich effects, and I hope everybody enjoyed that part. It seems like most people like that. It's interesting if you're into green screen photography. But If not, I mean, maybe you should be. You should grab yourself a green screen. You can also use these effects if you do a really, really good cutout. You can do sandwich effects. If you can cut somebody out of something. So you definitely have that too. Yes, Kevin's Skype is open today. And I am on the proper account. So it should be, you should be able to ring 724-701-0911. If you want to ring in on Skype. And we'll let that go for a minute to see if the phones are going to work here or not this morning. And we're checking it out here just to see if the phones are working. I don't have my phone up here to test it, but it is on the right account. Okay. The last thing I'm going to touch base with you today on this episode is we're going to talk about how to use Camera Raw. And what is Camera Raw? What does that mean exactly? Well, Camera Raw, let me see, I must have missed it. Did the foreground background images come from the green screen wizard? Yes, they did. JMWG Nuke. Yeah, they did. They came from Green Screen Wizard site. Is where those particular images came from. And I'm not sure what he's selling them for now. Like maybe $30. I can't remember exactly. Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad I can let you know that. Okay, guys. So the last part of this tutorial here, before I get to go actually clean the basement, and hopefully the audio is staying up now. I don't know what happened to that. It had to be a hiccup in the system. I was looking here and I never lost any output audio, and I'm sure I'll go back through my recording to see what happened. But thanks for letting me know right away in the chat room. That's a big help. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about, like I said, is we are going to look at some raw images, and then we're going to have our photo contest of the week. I think you guys will be interested with this contest. So we'll gear up for that. But let me just, I'm going to close all these. We don't want any of these open. Let's see here. We are going to close all, and we're not going to save any of them. Okay, I went out this morning, I took my camera outside, and I grabbed some pictures. Now, I grabbed some pictures to show you because these are pictures of Camera Raw. Now, RAW is a way of taking a picture. I did a lot of times with weddings too. RAW is a way of taking pictures and grabbing all the information available to you. Because what happens with our cameras is when we turn on program mode or sports mode, the camera does a best guess scenario and it does a compression scheme. With that compression scheme, what happens is it turns it into a JPEG, JPG, right? We've all seen that when you import, you get JPEGs. Well, that is a compressed picture. That's why it's the size it is. And I know people say, well, my camera is a 20 megapixel, or a whatever I've seen. I don't even know what mine is anymore. I can't remember anymore. A 12 megapixel, I think mine is. But there's many megapixel cameras out there, and the pictures are relatively huge in file size, but although they are still compressed into a JPEG. With that said, when you do Camera Raw, you're capturing everything. So if you have a 35mm DSLR, look at the settings on the back, go into the menu and look where it says picture settings. You have fine, you have, coarse settings, or just different settings in there that you can change the file size is what you're doing. Change it to Camera Raw. So it'll be RAW. Once you do that and you take a picture, that file size is going to be at least 3, maybe 4 times larger than a picture shot on one of the compressed modes, because it's no longer compressing it. You have everything. So why do we want to do that? Why is that important? Boy, Jack, you rattled on and we don't know why that's important. Well, it's important because what's going to happen is when you come back into your studio and you go to look at those pages, especially from for a wedding standpoint, and I think I talked with Kevin about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week. Sometimes you take your camera outside and you have it set on to shoot indoors, like 800 ISO, or maybe you have a white balance set for This is a big one. I know it happens sometimes. You have a white balance set for incandescent lighting, but you're outside shooting in sun or in the clouds. Oh, you just wasted a whole day, right? Your whole day at the zoo, 300 pictures gone. Not that you would shoot 300 pictures in RAW, but you get the idea. When you come back in RAW, you can change that information because you have all of the information. So I'm going to open one up here. And let's see here where we have one here. Let's see. So mine, as you see, or oh, maybe you can't see because I didn't switch cameras over. So mine, as you can see here, is NEF. It's a Nikon file. I don't know what yours is. If you're shooting a Canon, I'm not sure exactly what that is. So, but this happens to be a Nikon file. So we're going to right click on that and say Open with Photoshop Elements 9. So there you go. Okay. On that part, what happens is it's Camera Raw, right? So this is Camera Raw, and the Camera Raw editor opens up in Photoshop Elements. I haven't found a camera yet that it won't open it up in Photoshop Elements. But anyway, hey, at this moment right now, let's see here. We should be okay. So what we're going to talk about here is white balance. You can see the information up here. Again, let me blow this up for you guys because I hate talking about something. I know when I'm watching videos, I hate people talking and I can't see what they're talking about. That really upsets you because then you can't get the information. Okay, so this is the Camera Raw editor. Now, what we're looking at here is up at the top, it tells me the aperture setting was f22. It tells me the lens shutter speed was 1/25 of a second. The ISO setting was 400. And I had my 18 by 135 at 18 millimeter zoom lens. Okay, so I had it set at 18 millimeters. Now, what we wanted to look at with RAW is white balance. This is as shot. And I think when I was outside, I shot this as automatic. But check this out. You can click that pull down menu and we can go daylight. And you can change the picture. You can go shade, change the picture again. I like this, if nothing else, just to give me an idea. Give me that opportunity to look at each white balance setting. I teach that in class when you're taking pictures. I teach them when we learn white balance. Change the settings, even if you're indoors in incandescent light, change it to shadow sometimes just to see what happens. Let's go down to fluorescent. Flash. A little green tint there. Custom is however you want to set your white balance. And when you do custom, you're doing temperature and tint. That's how you're doing it. Right? White balance is based on light available. It's also based on the heat of the light source. That's where you get temperature. The tint is basically the color of it. So you can change this any way you want to change it. Right there. There you go. So you can definitely change it around any way you want to change that. And you can change the tint, just like it says, tint. We can change the exposure. You can do an auto, give it the best guess, go back to defaults and do it yourself. So you can overexpose. Maybe if a picture's way overexposed, right? Now if you took it in Camera Raw and it come in like that, you come in here and just drop it, and look, you can actually do something with it. If you take it in JPEG, what's the best thing you can do with it? Delete it. That's right. That's the best thing you can do with it. You can throw some fill lighting in if you needed some fill lighting in the background. See how it's behind, right? You can increase your blacks. You guys get the ideas. Increase your blacks. I tell you what, Camera Raw is where it's at for a lot of stuff. Especially if you're doing portrait work, shoot it in RAW. Because when you're in your studio, you can get a lot better idea of a base picture. And then you can do your editing on top of that. So you have it all done. What I want you to do is click on Open Image. And now it opens it up in Photoshop Elements. So that's how that works. Alright. Okay guys, I want you to hold on for 1 second there, and I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so we got that straightened out there. Hopefully the audio's holding up still. Good deal. Okay, Kevin, so you always shoot raw. Well, that's why your pictures always look so good. I mean, they're very good. I don't shoot raw all the time because it takes a lot of work to actually do that, coming back and doing all that compressing and everything and getting all that picture quality together. So I don't shoot raw all the time. And Kevin, did you try to call the show? Did you try to call the phone number at all? I don't know if it's working or not. Of course, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Okay. Anyway, with that said, guys, we are going to go now into our photo contest of the week. Now, why did I want to have a photo contest? Was just to, it wasn't working. That's really weird. It wasn't working at all. Yeah, and like I said, I don't have my phone up here with me, so I don't see. I can't believe it's not working today. It says you're online. Just want to see if this works or not here, folks, real quick. Then we'll go with that photo contest of the week and see what happens. Hi, Kevin. Hey, there you are, man.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, buddy.
Good. Yeah, I didn't want to hold you in there too long. I just want to just call you and make sure this thing's working.
Yep.
And apparently the Skype is actually calling out, but you said the phone number calling in wouldn't work?
No, I never tried. I was just letting you know.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, very good. I just wanted to see if somebody would call in there on the phone number and see if that would work. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kevin, I'm not going to hold you there. I'm just going to keep going, moving with the show here. We're about done, and I have that list of things to do today with the wife, like clean the porch off, get the furniture out, all that important stuff. So, all right, buddy. I just wanted to call and say hello, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, folks, that was Kevin. I'm sure you heard that from. He's a definitely follows along the show there. He did co-host last week, so we were good to go, and that was very nice. What we're going to do now is we are going to do the photo contest of the week. And let's see here. Let's see if I have one. Nope, I don't have one to show you. That's all right. What you're going to win for the photo contest of the week, if you happen to win it, is you'll win a trip for 4 to the fabulous state of Hawaii and Honolulu. Well, that's not true. Can't send you to Hawaii. If I would go myself, take pictures. Nope. Actually, you're going to win a copy of my new Photoshop Elements 9 Volume 1 DVD. If you win this photo contest, the way it's going to work is the photo contest. I'm going to put a picture up on your screen. And you will have exactly 30 seconds when I bring this picture up to tell me what lives in the chat window. And if you win, I'll get your name and address from you. Hello, you still there? Everybody still there? Sorry if we lost the audio again. Well, how do we keep losing audio? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If we keep losing audio. Very, very weird. Okay, you guys got it back now? Everybody got the audio back now. Hello, hello, hello. How's the audio? Hello, hello, hello. We're trying to bring up the audio there, make sure. Kevin, you got the audio. How about Lynn 1956? Do you got me back up now? Lynn 1956. Got the audio back up. Hello, Lynn. Yep. Okay, Lynn 1956. How's the audio? You got it back up? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to say yep. Okay, Lynn, there you are. Great. Thank you very much. And like I said, that must be a hiccup somewhere in the system. I don't know when the audio is going out with the video or whatever happens there. I'm not sure. Okay, so here we go. We are going to go with this picture. And you have 30 seconds to tell me what it is. So just put it in the chat window if you know what it is. Yep, I see that, Kev. Perfect. Okay, here we go. And I'm just watching the clock here. And we should be good right now. I want to know what that is a part of. What that is a part of. Not a rusty bolt. We can see that. Start thinking. Start thinking. Start thinking here. Start thinking. A wood knot. Well, that was a good thought. And we're going to show you here what it is. Knot in the wood. That does look like a knot in the wood, doesn't it? Yeah, it actually isn't. It is actually a part of our pool ladder. That's actually a rusted bolt, and it's sitting right on the side of that pool ladder is where that's at. So, I don't know if I can bring it up or not. Let me see if I can make it any closer for you. I bet you I can. Yeah, that'll probably help you out a little bit. There you go. We'll throw it up there for you guys. There you go. So there it is. There is the part right there that was blown up, and that was the picture of the week. So nobody won this week. Hopefully somebody will pick that up next week in a contest and tell your friends that, hey, Jack's Tech Corner Photoshop Elements Weekly has, they got a pretty cool little contest anyway. Something for a chance for you guys to win something. So with that said, we're going to start wrapping this show up and getting everything put away here and cleaned up in the studio so I can go help the wife out and get my stuff done outside. So hopefully you guys are having a great Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully everybody will be doing more this weekend and getting things all wrapped up. So hopefully the audio will stay better next week. I'm sorry we lost it. Could have been a hiccup a couple times. I'm watching a VU meter here, so my volume going out always seems to be good. Hey, Lynn, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Okay, and JMWGT Nuke, thank you very much also. And Lynn, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you guys can stop by. Also, watch the YouTube videos if you're not already watching those. I'm glad you loved the foreground and background sandwich. That was a fun one. I really enjoy that. If you guys have any questions, though, you can pick up your cell phone and give me a ring, 724-701-0911. Want to get yourself out there on the show. Okay, Jessica. All right, very good, Jessica. Thank you. It's nice to know who's watching my show. And thank you very much, Mr. Ntar, trying to get to the point quicker. I do appreciate the compliment, or I do appreciate the criticism there, and I will try my best to get to the point just a little bit quicker. Kevin, have a good one also, and great. Lynn, we'll see you next week. So everybody, take care, and as always, remember, keep those cameras clicking, keep the editors editing, and I'll see you back here next week on Photoshop Elements Weekly. Bye for now.